Madagascar sits alone in the Indian Ocean, east of Africa. It has been separated from the rest of the world for millions of years. That long isolation explains why so much of what lives here exists nowhere else. Lemurs, ground rollers, wangas, bearbers, chameleons. Even the forests change as you move across island. If you care about biodiversity travel, Madagascar does not try to impress you loudly. It walks more slowly and then stays with you. This video follows my own route across the island. Not just highlights, but the reality in between. My name is Sabu, and you are watching Windows with Sabu. I began my flying via Addis Ababa, one of the most reliable ways to reach Madagascar. The capital is Antananarivo, but everyone simply calls Tana. Tana is busy, welcoming, and I stayed near the airport for my first night. Watched the city move and adjusted to island time, which runs at its own pace. Next morning, I headed to a short drive from the airport. It is quiet, uncrowded, and perfect for slow birding. I photographed Madagascar teal, grey heron, purple heron, black-crowned night heron, straight heron, a red-billed duck, dwarf kingfisher, and Madagascar snipe. Then came the Madagascar orb web spider. Its web can stretch close to 5 feet across. A few endemic frogs joined the morning too. It was a calm and rewarding the first local experience of Madagascar's biodiversity. From Tana, I drove about 150 kilometers northeast to Andasibe. With stops, the journey took close to 5 hours. We passed rice fields, roadside stalls, and small villages where life continues at a steady rhythm. Andasibe-Mantadia National Park is home to the Indri, the largest living lemur. Their calls echo through the forest, sounding like music mixed with a warned siren. It is a sound you do not forget. I also saw diademed sifaka, Madagascar crested ibis, what a beauty, and long-tailed ground rollers, and many more. Night walks revealed chameleons and nocturnal lemurs, proving that the forests become even busier when visitors think the day is over. Political unrest forced me to cut this visit short. I returned overnight to Tana and caught a morning flight south to Telur. From the air, the change in landscape was immediate. Green faded out. The land opened up. The bearbers appeared from the red soil as if someone had placed them there carefully. From Tulior, I drove to Ifati, on the edge of the famous spiny forest. This is one of Madagascar's strangest ecosystems. Almost everything here looks like It evolved with a survival as its only goal. I found subdesert birds, including ground rollers, many other creatures and plants that seems designed by someone who strongly dislikes rain. I spent 2 nights here, adjusting once again to very different Madagascar. From here, the road runs straight into Isalo National Park. The forest disappears and the sandstone takes over. Cliffs, canyons, and open ground dominate the view, shaped slowly by wind and seasonal water. Isalo is one of Madagascar's most important landscapes for biodiversity travel, and it also carries cultural meaning. These rock formations appears on Malagasy currency, the Ariari, that usually tells you a place matters. All of this unfolds along National Highway 7, the backbone of southern Madagascar. Continuing south bring you to Aja Community Reserve, a strong example of community-led conservation. This is one of the easiest places to see Madagascar's most iconic endemic animal, the long-tailed lemur, the
I
famous
like to
King
move it,
Julian.
move it. I like to move it,
You
move
may
it.
expect
I
the
like
king,
to move-
tall and larger than life. But no, ringtail lemurs are medium sized. They are energetic, curious, and often look blissfully happy. And somehow, they welcome you wholeheartedly as if you are part of the group. The next long stretch took me to Ranomafana National Park. If I had to choose one rainforest as Madagascar's core biodiversity site, this would be it. Ranomafana is dense, alive, and full of species that are hard to see anywhere else. Bamboo lemurs, ground rollers, and forest species are all there. I spent 2 days walking mystery trails and letting the forest reveal itself slowly. From Ranomafana, I traveled through the highlands towards Andasibe. I tasted local wine and rum and watched everyday life unfold. It was a good pause between forest and fights. Because my first visit to Andasibe had been cut short, I returned. By then, the situation had stabilized and travel was normal again. This time, there was no rush. Entry calls echoed through the forest, and I finally visited Lemur Island, which I missed last time. I felt less like repeating a place and more like finishing an expedition. After that, I returned to Tana and flew north, Sambawa, on the Vanilla Coast. The change was instant. Coconut palms, vanilla plantations, humidity, and slower coastal rhythm takes over. From Sambhawa, I went straight to Marojejy National Park. A 4x4 took us to the trailhead, and by late afternoon, we began the ascent from the beautiful village at the foothill. That evening turned into almost 6 hours of night hiking. We started around 4 o'clock and reached the campsite close to 10. The forest was alive with frogs, insects, snakes, and unseen movements. The terrain was steep and we slowed often to catch our breath. My main goals here were the silky sifaka and helmet wanga. Sifaka is one of the world's most endangered lemurs, and wanga is one of Madagascar's most sought after birds. Marojejy does not give things easily. That effort is exactly why it stays with you. On a lighter note, Madagascar green geckos were everywhere. Walls, windows, and sometimes right next to breakfast. Bright green, cook, and completely unbothered by humans. On the final morning, I began the descent at dawn. It took nearly 6 hours to reach lower ground.
Welcome to Malding.
Villagers welcomed me back with innocent smiles and greetings. I returned to Sambhawa, spent the night recovering. Then I flew back to Tana before leaving Madagascar.